Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The world that we live in today has more humans present than ever before. We have grown as a species and adapted to our environments, ultimately progressing and taking control of our world. However, I can say the same for disease-causing bacteria. According to the World Health Organization, there are more of them than have ever existed, and they outnumber us humans 10 to 1. These pathogens, they get smarter and can adapt to the changing environment, much like us humans. Vaccines have certainly become a solution to fighting disease-causing bacteria. Many of you in the audience may have taken a vaccine against measles, mumps, and rubella prior to entering NDSU. However, there has been a growing concern towards vaccines as a whole, especially in more developed countries like ours. This movement is regarded as the anti-vax movement. I wouldn't say that I know everything that there is to know on this topic. However, I do feel comfortable enough in my knowledge to really take a stand against anti-vax movement and to urge you to support my main points. I would like to make clear that vaccines are essential for the overall livelihood of everyone in a society. And it's not just for the individual who takes them. The anti-vax movement is also a threat to the overall health of a society. And we as humans should stand up against that. My first main point is really meant to educate and inform why vaccines are necessary. You see, Dr. Charles Hemingworth from Oxford University stated that vaccines are like a whisper. They're hard to hear. What he meant by this is that after a while, the effects of a vaccine are taken for granted. It slowly becomes a luxury that is forgotten about. Herd immunity is also a concept in microbiology that states that the more healthy a population is, the less likely an individual of that population would spread an infection within that same population. I would like to urge that further funding towards educating people about vaccines be made. This is because if more people feel the need to join the herd as a whole, we will be less likely to suffer from contagious infections. I would also like to urge that a general public for more funding to be allocated towards medical research, particularly in areas of microbiology and pharmacology. The US federal budget only allocates 3% towards development of new vaccines for domestic use. This is a pretty dismal amount, particularly since we as a first world nation should handle the problems that are more likely to affect further developing nations. I would also like to urge you in the audience to support me on my next point, that the anti-vax movement is a scary movement that affects us as humans. However, their movement isn't just guided by who say what say. However, it is a movement guided on fear. According to the article First World Problems and the Dangers of Anti-Vax Movement, many anti-vax followers believe that the vaccines are the cause of autism. However, after doing some research and learning the topic, I can say that according to scientific data collected by the CDC, there is really nothing in no vaccine that could give a child autism. It may be difficult to imagine. However, picture polio or smallpox, diseases that really plagued many countries and countless of people. However, because of advancements in medicine, and vaccines were made and allocated, so people were no longer affected by these diseases. So I'd also like to ask my audience to join me and not insult the progress that we've made as humans, but rather let's be proud of the achievements in medicine that we've made over the centuries, and let's not shy away from them. So in conclusion, I'd like to reiterate my belief with this picture. This picture is taken from CBC News, and the baby on the left here is Ezekiel Stefan, and his parents are David and Colette Stefan. David and Colette saw that Stefan was sick and immediately took him to the hospital. However, the doctor advised that he should take some vaccine to help aid in his treatment for meningitis. However, they chose homemade remedies and so on to alleviate his pain. And after a while, it looked like it was working. However, Stefan ended up dying 2 weeks later because he did not receive the vaccine that he was so desperately needed. Fear is not something that we should allow to lead our mindset. Rather, we should question our concerns and address them to educated people on the topic. So I'd like to end my speech by saying thank you for allowing me to talk on this issue, and I hope that you too can take a stand against the anti-vax movement. Thank you.